Hello and thank you for joining us on this Journalist Hangout on Sunday. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, 100 students of FGC Birnin-Yauri still in captivity as bandits turn Sokoto-Gusau Road into their den. Experts kick against Naira devaluation, warn that it will increase Nigeria's debt servicing burden. JH Weekend Special is on the recent New Yam Festival in Ikiriade, Kogi State, and induction of 8 persons into the town's Hall of Fame. And later on the show, football legends, Nollywood stars, and popular musicians storm Bauchi for the African Children Talent Discovery Foundation Talent Hunt. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Dotun Oladipo. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin the issue of national significance after the Asaba declaration of the 11th of May in Delta State. The 17 southern governors will again converge on Lagos on Monday for another meeting. The vexed issues of open grazing and restructuring are expected to take central stage at the meeting, which will be hosted by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the State House, Ikeja. Call its persistence, consistency, or sheer determination to make a change. Babajide, again, after the foremost popular Asaba declaration that got a lot of reaction across the country, these governors, they do meet, Southwest governors do meet, South-South governors do meet, but not every time you hear the entire Southern governors meeting. So it happened last month, and they made their statement, and across the country it reverberated. Now they are meeting in Lagos. Do you see anything changing? Because President Buhari doesn't seem pleased, or the presidency does not seem pleased with that stand of ban on open grazing, according to its Attorney General, reaction from Malagaba Shehu and Mr. President himself.
Well, the important thing is those governors want to protect their states as much as possible. They are not the commander-in-chief who has the power to deploy troops, who has the power to appoint service chiefs and heads of paramilitary organizations. The powers of governors are limited. People simply think, oh, because governors have security votes, that equates to being the chief security officer in the state. There is no governor who is chief security officer of a state. They are deceiving themselves if they say they are chief security officers of their state. Sanwo-Olu cannot sit here in Lagos and simply order the army to go somewhere. He has to contact the presidency. And if Abuja does not see any need for the deployment, it will not happen.
It will not happen.
So even if he sees Lagos about to collapse on his head, and he knows that the army can stop that collapse, he can only ask for permission. He can only ask the federal authorities to please allow the army to do this for me.
He's not even in charge of civil defense.
It's not in charge of civil defense, which is the closest even to civilians than even the police in terms of the structure and what's at their disposal. So the point that we are making is these governors, you accuse governors of not doing enough, that they spend the security vote on Owambe. You are blind to the fact that a governor, the governor of Imo State, in just one day, bought 80 vans. This is Suzu Tiger and the rest of them. 80 vans for the police and other security agents. Does that come cheap? We saw what Sanwo-Olu bought the other day. Does it come cheap?
Massive.
It doesn't come cheap. They spend their security votes on this, so you simply tell yourselves that, oh, it's Owambe that they spend it for, because you don't want to direct blame to the appropriate quarters. So now, governors have made up their mind in the Southeast that, look, open grazing is the reason we're having all kinds of violent combustions around the food production belt of our country. So let's have this thing out of the... They came up with 21 resolutions, but the whole world is talking about open grazing alone. How about some other positive things that they suggested? That we should have more ports. God has blessed Nigeria with no less than 21 ports, but we are focusing on the Lagos port. And they said, let's develop more ports and create new economies around where we have those ports. Nobody is talking about that one. It's just the open grazing thing. And open grazing is no longer fashionable. It's antiquated. Let people ranch. Let people ranch. Even the president already is practicalizing ranching. So he should be encouraging people to take to ranching.
Doctor, do you see the Southern governors backing down, despite the criticism from the presidency, despite the opposition from the Attorney General, and even Mr. President himself?
Well, I don't see that happening now, at least no longer, because it took them a while to get to this point. Before, it had always been trying to pander to what they feel the body language of the presidency is. But it got to a point where it became something else, where you had prominent and well-respected traditional rulers being kidnapped, killed, disgraced. Prominent Southerners also. We till date, I mean, the daughter of the Afenifere leader, we have not had anything concrete on that, and the driver confirmed that those who attacked them were herdsmen.
Oh, they put them on trial.
Yes, I mean, not just about the trial, but I mean something we should by now. I mean, the justice system is slow. This thing shouldn't take this long, and you have so many like that. So if you get to a point like that, how do you back down? How do you begin to say to people, your people again, we want them to keep killing you? It becomes impossible. And like BKO said, see, we're a one-issue nation. Something comes up, it blinds us. We make that the only topic we are going to discuss for a long while. And then something else comes up, the topic changes. Why is it that of all the things discussed, we've decided to begin to focus just on the open grazing? That shouldn't even come up at all. Because like we have said, even economically, it's unwise. It's an unwise practice. It's been said that, see, ranching gives you far more yield than you get with open grazing. So why are we still there? And then also, we shouldn't forget, it's also the issue of restructuring. Something happened in Lagos yesterday, which was the rally that was held for. When are we going to stop having such confrontation and bloodshed when we know that these are legitimate and genuine demands? Nobody can fault that. If I say I'm in a union and I don't want to be in that union again, we have to sit down and renegotiate, because that's what makes sense. But making it look like these are not issues that are, I mean, can be substantiated or that are sustainable, then we are just deceiving ourselves. We should face the reality.
All right. Now, moving on now. We promised to give you an update of that meeting after the matter have concluded on Journalist Hangout on Monday. So, noble deeds deserve commendation, not just as reward, but as good example to others. The students of the University of Lagos, UNILAG, have commended the Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe, for his timely response to the distress call after a blackout on campus. The Vice Chancellor attracted applause and admiration from the students after he stormed the Jaja Hall of the university to ensure electricity was restored, moments after he got information. In appreciation, the students sang his praises and commended him for the zeal. Babajide, it's not every time you get to see this site. If you attended any federal university, if you attend any school, or particularly school like University of Lagos, you only get to meet your vice chancellors in lecture theaters. I think we should just listen to what is happening here. You can see the student, I think it's their hostel. You have to go into their hostel.
Our lights in the hostel just went off, and then the porters were like the transformer couldn't carry it anymore or something, and that they would try to fix it, but apparently it wasn't really like working, because we were waiting. We waited for like 3 hours and they hadn't yet brought the light. So students had to complain because the hostel, there's heat.
Like, we were very annoyed. But from there, some guys that could sing, they were playing instruments. Before the whole hostel was singing. But the noise was too much. The whole noise was trying to get the porters' attention. Because they won't even pay attention to that thing. So as we kept singing, they felt call about bees, alpha bees, that they should come and scatter all of us, that we shouldn't sing again. But we came outside, so like a protest before the VC came. But that night just showed like the power of the VC. Because immediately the VC came, sharp, light, and they didn't take it again.
Then I really saw that he's really a free-spirited person, because not many VCs would walk into a hostel like that without bodyguards and all that. But this is someone that walked in and actually embraced like the students, allowed them to get closer to him. I even took a selfie with him that night, so allowed to get closer to him, spoke with student, laugh, which is something that you won't see with many, not even VCs, but like even probably deans don't even relate with students as much as he being the VC.
I'm going to say thank you very much for all you do for students and how you've been relating with students one-on-one. So it makes everybody excited. It makes everybody see they actually have someone there for them in this school. So we are very excited. We say thank you, a very big thank you to you.
Our students in the University of Lagos, I love them. I place them very high because they are doing very well. We can do better, but they are doing very well in the area of entrepreneurship, in the area of innovation. If you move around, you can see the calmness on campus, you can see the peace on campus. It's because I interact with them.
For those of you that attended the University of Lagos in the 90s, you remember a man called Professor Jelili Omotola, exactly, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundupe, exactly the same way of doing things. And I said it off camera that if you're not sure of yourself, if you're a vice chancellor, if you go into it, you'll be disgraced.
Yes, and it's a good thing to quickly respond to agitations by students. They want to study and they don't like being in darkness. We've seen riots happen over power outage in schools. So the VC responded well, and that problem was solved instantly, and that was why he was accorded the recognition that you give a hero. They started calling him Odogu. He's a lion on campus. He's a problem solver on campus. So it's good. Coming so close to the convocation of the school. This is an endorsement of the leadership qualities and evidence of the popularity of the VC. So
this is a man that has weathered the storm and is back now, and he can concentrate. He has a kind of harmonious relationship with the university board. Now you can see the outcome.
Even with the management and the students, he does. Because under him, based on the facts and figures available, the lecturers have not had it so good in terms of being able to get people bodies who can sponsor, who can finance their projects,
research,
who can fund their researches. Based on facts and figures, none in terms of leadership has been able to get it for the lecturers. Even when you look at the admission process, you see that despite the upheavals here and there, UNILAG wasn't affected last year. There wasn't this hue and cry over my child did not get this, my child did not get that, even when he was qualified. If you had followed it in the last 2 years, it's been peaceful. And that was why it was very easy for the lecturers to back in when there was a problem. Because they saw in him a leader who could take them to where they are going. In terms of, even for he himself, he's into research. He got some grants for himself. He's gotten for so many lecturers. The records are there. And there is nothing else we want. You know, on this program, we've discussed the issue of funding for universities. If that is going to put us under less pressure, I think there is a need for other people to come and learn from him how these things are done. Because for you to get a grant, you must be able to write a proper paper. You must be able to articulate your thoughts, your views to get those grants. And he's doing it.
Babajide, I think ultimately that these schools, these federal institutions, ultimately they have to start looking elsewhere for funding, because for government to actually, fund these schools 100% and they get the best out of the students or out of the system with the kind of financial situation this government has found itself, you can't say all the federal schools that the government can effectively fund them.
No, it's especially with revenue shrinking in our country. But it's a good thing that the VC of UNILAG has been able to use his goodwill to get people to help out in terms of infrastructure, deliver infrastructure in the school. When you drive around the campus,
corporate organizations,
you see corporate organizations have chipped in with one building another. That will go a long way. That will go a long way because they simply can't find even the asphalting of the UNILAG roads. Somehow, it's used its own connections to the state government to also get them to help them fix UNILAG roads and all that. So that you can't simply rely on the funds coming from the center because it will never be enough for you to do all that you plan to do for the school. So kudos to him for the way he responded, and we hope others would take a cue from the VC.
Let's say kudos to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe. Moving on now, it appears we are sleeping with fire on our roof as a country 2 weeks after bandits stormed the federal government college, Birnin-Yauri in Kebbi State on Thursday, 17th of June, and whisked away hundreds of students and staff. There is no respite yet for them. Still in captivity, yet authorities appeared unperturbed with their predicament. Meanwhile, the bandits continue their atrocities across the northwest unchecked. They have taken to Sokoto-Gusau Road and turned it into their den. The highway, which was a major route for motorists traveling from Sokoto, Katsina, Zamfara, and other parts of the northwest, has become a nightmare as it has been taken over by bandits and kidnappers who unleash terror on motorists and farmers. Is it that we can't find a lasting solution to this menace? And I'm even tired of, talking about the activities of bandits. A lot of Nigerians will say, why can't the government rein them in? Federal roads like this major highway, Katsina, Zamfara, and some federal roads taken over by bandits. Last week I was discussing with my colleagues in Abuja, that's TVC staff in Abuja, that had to come to Bauchi, And I was discussing with the driver, and he told me how he had to avoid some routes, take some long cuts to be able to avoid insecurity and banditry across the road.
Well, we shouldn't get tired of discussing this issue, because it has become quite obvious to us now that without security, there is nothing else we can do. Our social life, economic life will be grounded. Like we've said on this program, it's getting to a point where people now ask themselves, especially when they are invited for social and religious functions outside of their domain, is it worth traveling?
You have to wait very well.
You have to wait. What I might likely encounter on the way, is it worth going on this journey? That's the point we have reached. That's the point we have reached. And the way it is becoming obvious that these guys who we call bandits, they are quite smart. They focus on a particular section. Once they get cut off, they move. There was a time it was Abuja-Kaduna highway. There was hardly any day that you won't have an attack. Then something was done. There was respite.
That respite, temporary one though.
Temporary.
They will still go back.
Because once they also see that the number of men who are manning that route has decreased, they've moved them elsewhere, then they return. Because it is obvious that once you begin to have attacks like this, that you are short of personnel, security personnel on those routes. That is what has happened in this particular area. Until we get it right in terms of numbers and equipment, it's going to be tough.
But Babajide,
Until we get it right.
These students, say more than 300 students, and we are so used to...
Yes, between Tegina and
the
federal government college,
Birnin-Yauri. We are so used to this kind of thing that even the federal government hardly talks about it. We don't know what the state government is doing, but I feel that there should be a kind of synergy between the federal government and the state government anytime we have issues like this.
Yes, I think that there should even be occasional briefing, if you cannot do it regularly, to simply keep people in the dark. When we have about close to 300, I think there are about more than 100 of them from the federal government college, Birnin-Yauri, and about 150 from Tegina. So we are talking about more than 250 school kids in captivity.
In the mind of their parents.
Now, what I see going on is that government is tired of paying ransom, because in the past government will come and pay ransom to these people. Now government is tired of paying ransom, and they think that the best thing to do is simply keep quiet. But to keep quiet while those children are there is irresponsible. You can't. People must know what you are doing. What efforts you must at least spread hope. Spread hope that this whole mess will come to an end. It is bad enough that government could not prevent this from happening. But things are made worse for parents when they cannot hear any information. They don't know how their children are doing, whether some of them are falling sick in the hands of these good-for-nothing people, and they are just, government is quiet. The army claimed that he rescued people. The question to ask is, what has happened since then? You claim that you rescued people. When? How? You have not defined how it happened. Could you have been involved in some form of a shootout when those guys have children that they've kept, that they could use as a human shield? Nobody will do that. You are not explaining fully how you manage to rescue a few people. And we are still left with over 100. Nobody is even talking again. It's like we now, it's gradually becoming like something that when it happens, leave it, those parents will find the money.
If you remember when they were killing people, kill 100 today, kill 200 tomorrow, it became the norm. It wasn't even making headline again.
So it's like we are now getting used to a situation in which we just keep quiet, we won't bring the money, and we can't rescue. So the parents will negotiate on their own with those people, you know, and then bring, some of them will sell their houses. It happened with those, yes, no, the university, the private university, Greenfield. Some parents sold their houses. You can imagine people who had worked for government. You served your country, you worked for your country. And then after working for 35 years, you get paid your gratuity, you now built a house where you are retiring, where you are spending your retirement. And bandits came and forced you to now sell that house because you believe that nothing can be so bad as to lose a son or a daughter. You now sold your houses and you now took part of the money that you realized to go and rent a house. Nothing kills people faster than that. And we are wondering why life expectancy is going down in our country. The horrors that people are going through will cause life expectancy to go down in our country. And I can imagine what those parents are going through. They are not hearing anything. They can't get to where the bandits are. The government that should be in the middle to provide succor, everybody is quiet. That was the same way we kept quiet. Federal authorities, who are the owners of that school in Afaka, the Forestry Mechanization Institute in Afaka, they kept quiet. The state government kept quiet. What they were all waiting for, okay, we will not pay ransom. When these children stay for so long there, their parents will find a way to pay ransom. That's government leaving its responsibilities and telling people, you and your people, defend yourselves. Defend yourselves. But you have not permitted us to be able to carry AK-47. Because if I have it, I will not even buy an AK-47. I will go for the the Israeli-made gun, the Uzi gun, because it fires more rounds. So I will go for something that fires more rounds. You too will know that where this person is. You know, robbers, if they know that
the sound of your gun,
they will not want to come close. So if you want us to be able to protect ourselves, since you are not showing that you want to protect us anymore, then give us the enablement to be able to bring in weapons that we deem fit to protect us.
People are saying that, look, if the government, this thing has gone on for too long, that the zeal in which the federal government of Nigeria has gone after Nnamdi Kanu, has gone after the Igbos and co., that they should be able to by now identify the leaders of these bandits and bring them to book. And by the time you start identifying them and you start bringing them to justice one by one, this will stem this tide. That is as if government is passing them with kid gloves, handling this with kid gloves.
Well, that has been the argument. But quickly, let me add that you left out the situation in Niger State, where parents put together 20 million to give to bandits. And if you ask me, 20 million in this time.
For what?
Season, poor parents.
Poor parents. It's major. In fact, if you follow the story, you see that even the man who went to deliver the ransom took his own 2 million out of it, and the bandits became angry. So, I mean,
he edited it.
He edited the money. Everybody is like, okay, this is business. Let us do it. But we need to really focus on the issue of security in the country. And that was why Nigerians at some point clamored for the removal of the immediate past service chiefs, because they believe that, or we believe that, they had become complacent and weren't doing the things they were to do in terms of reining in these bandits. Yes, it's a legitimate argument to say, see, there are people who are terrorizing us, and we are looking for only two men, Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Adeyemo, who are demanding for what a lot of us consider legitimate. I mean, we are making legitimate demands, even if we do not believe in the process to achieve it. Why are we unable to rein in these people? Fine, they are faceless. And you say, in a non-conventional war like this, you can't predict your enemy. You don't know where they are going to strike from. But that is why we call them intelligence agencies. They are supposed to gather intelligence. They are supposed to be able to say, see, this is where this man is. Okay, if you, for instance, as the Department of State Services, knew at some point that Sunday Adeyemo was in his house, you gathered some level of intelligence. But at the end of the day, you didn't know how he escaped. It shows also that there was all in execution of that operation. So
maybe he used juju to escape.
to vanish. Some even said he turned into a cat.
But we arrested the cat.
They arrested the cat.
But the cat did not turn back to.
You know?
The cat has not turned back to Sunday in their custody.
So what are we doing with intelligence gathering? Because these people are not spirits. They are people who walk the streets. They come into town to refill their band for food, for other things that we have all been mentioning here.
They have vendors. They have
camps.
people that collaborate with them.
Yes.
And they buy food, buy everything.
Buy everything and they get away with it. So what exactly are we doing to gather enough intelligence in order to be able to find these people? Like BKO said, the argument subsists. If there is a claim that some of these students were freed, how come that was achieved without bringing in all the others?
No, that's what that's what makes the story difficult to believe. You remember what happened with the Afaka students? One of them was ill, so the bandits didn't want him to die in their custody. They simply released him. But the army claimed that they rescued him. The boy now spoke to the press and said, "No, nobody rescued me. I came home on my own."
Because they released
so I don't know how. There was also a case of the police, because police too will advise you to go and pay ransom. The same people who advise you to pay ransom, when you now pay ransom, they will say they are the ones who rescued you. It happened in Oyo State, recently, and the man was very angry that after I paid about 6 million ransom,
you are saying you
are the one who rescued me. I mean, so I don't know why we are doing this. Now people should ask the question: how were you able to rescue those few people? And we still have about 100 left. If it was a shootout that you did, you killed those people, you should have been able to rescue more. But we are in a nation where people don't ask questions.
Because we also don't get answers. Like we have said, there is this culture of silence. Everybody wants to be quiet until when some form of victory can be claimed. Let me use that word, can be claimed.
Yeah.
That's what everybody wants to do. But where does that put us? When all of these things are happening, the media becomes a whipping boy. You are not provided with any information, but you are expected to give hope to the people. The people who are kidnapping, they are giving information. They are saying, look, we will kill this person, and they make it available to you. Yet, you shouldn't report that. It becomes a problem. So who are you talking to? What are the things you are putting in the public domain? What gives people comfort? Government doesn't, like BQ said, have money again to pay any ransom. So how do we do it?
You know that if they continue to pay ransom,
of course, we'll use
it will not stop.
It won't stop.
It won't stop. And those guys, even their mouths are now wide.
Very wide.
I was listening
wide.
to an audio clip. We had Dogo Gide was asking for 700 million. Can you imagine?
Even the one that they
700 million. And they were telling him, where do you expect them to get this? And he was saying, look, government has money.
Exactly.
That they are governor, he is the governor of the forest. Can you imagine? Somebody should have been wasted.
Million. They are complaining that they brought them a mere 18 million.
Oh no! You know how much they got from those students?
18 million.
The Greenfield parents.
Yes, a lot of money. 18 million. We still need to begin to work on how we are going to have enough intelligence on these things. It's not about.
You know, the thing is, the best thing is to stop it from happening.
Yes.
When it happens, your choices become limited.
Very limited.
On the day it happened, I was told that the Air Force, that the reconnaissance plane was hovering over the area. When you over the area, what are you going to do? You can't drop any bomb on them. You can't drop any bomb on them because you kill those children, and nobody wants that to happen. You can't be involved in a firefight with the bandits, because if those children get killed, people will not forgive the army.
At all.
So the best thing is to not let this happen. And the governor of Kebbi State, I was reading his reaction to this development, and he said that he suggested that the school should be closed. You know, that school, federal government called it Birnin-Yauri, not Yauri, Birnin-Yauri. That school is a federal government-owned school, a unity school owned by the federal government. So the state government does not have power over the activities. So he wanted the place closed, but he was assured that, look, don't worry, this matter will be, they will be protected. The school will be protected. What is our definition of protection? We have shown that over the years, we have refused to learn our lessons. What happened in Chibok is similar to what we are seeing now. When we were told that, the school has been protected, and we allowed WAEC exams to go ahead in the school. A school that is located very close to Sambisa Forest is not safe. This Boko Haram at that time was even attacking towns. And you left a school in a remote area, you said you are given protection. But what did we see? What did we see? They came with overwhelming force and overran the security that you put at that school. That is exactly what happened in Yauri, Birnin-Yauri. Because yes, they put anti-bomb squad, they put policemen that they felt were enough. But you don't know the maximum force that these guys are bringing. You put less than 30 policemen there, and they came with about 200 fighters.
And when they see the fighters,
and
of
superior
course,
weapon.
With superior weapon. Look at even the GPMGs that they were parading on the day they showed those children to us. So when you have that kind of situation, you must never gamble. You must never imagine that you have security. Once a school is located in a remote area, close the school. You will never hear now that a school was overrun in Borno State again. Because between Shetima, the former governor, and Zulum, they are not fools. All those schools have been relocated to the state capital.
Maiduguri, come to Maiduguri.
That is where they are. You
so
see,
you don't have any school operation
what you now call,
Maiduguri.
what they call mega schools in Maiduguri is mega by the size. You can have up to 60 classrooms in one school.
Okay, Jide, look at the picture we are talking about now. Look at how young these people.
The young guys recruited, a lot of them recruited from outside our country, from Niger Republic especially.
Okay. Well, I think one of the parents joining us again, Mohammed Bello.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Mohammed Bello.
The President of Federal Government. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
What are you hearing from the forest where your kids and kids of other people are being kept?
I'm not hearing anything much. The only thing we heard was that the governor addressed us when we went to protest march to government house, and the State House of Assembly. Actually, to be candid, we have to appreciate the efforts of the state government and the governor as a person, and the State House of Assembly for keeping us abreast of what is happening. But they tell us that we should be praying and that the children will be brought back alive. When, how, and where, what are they doing? That is the answer we cannot give.
They just told you to be praying.
About.
Oh. But you said that you are happy with the efforts. You are commending the state government. What are the efforts that they have made that deserve commendation?
Okay, when we came there for the first time, he addressed us and that the children, they know where the children are. That is the first effort we did. That they know where the children are. But because of security reasons, they don't give us the ABC of everything. However, the members of the House of Assembly representing that constituency, that is exactly where the school is located, and who happens to be the chairman of the PT of that school, told us in assuring confidence that the state government have put in extra mile in locating where these children are, and I will just give them time and be prayerful. That is just what we are told. That is the effort I can say we have seen. I don't know where the children are.
Have the bandits contacted you at all, asking for
ransom payment?
Yes, we have private contact with the bandits. Like me as a person, I was able to talk with my children, but the problem is that they don't have enough food, they don't have water. And the bandits are saying that they don't want to even communicate with parents again. That is the government that offend them, and it is the government they want to deal with. That even if you bring 1 billion, they won't take. But they want the government to deal with them.
Oh. Probably they think you parents won't be able to muster enough money at the disposal of government.
Of course, that might be their problem.
So, do you have the exact number of children in their custody?
Right now, there should be around 87 that are remaining with them.
Around?
87. 87 with 6 staff.
With 6 staff. That's 87 plus 6.
87 students, 6 staff.
That's 93.
And among the staff is one the vice principal that voluntarily follow them. That wherever they are kindly children, you follow them. Whatever they do to the children, you see to him too. He is still there.
Okay. So we have 93. 93.
Yes. That's 93.
Some of them escaped. Some of the children escaped and found themselves in the hometown of the late General Tanko Ayuba. So we had.
It is all rumor. It is all rumor. If a student escapes from that jungle, by now he should be able to be located in any of these settlements.
No, we are talking about the ones that are officially that escaped the week this thing happened, including 3 workers.
No, it is not true. It is only 2 staff they were able to rescue, and 7 students. Out of that 7, 3 are dead, 4 alive. Then one teacher miraculously escaped. He cannot even explain how he escaped. That is circumstantial. He is alive now, he's home. But for others, we have not had of anything yet.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. And I will pray that your children will be united with you by God's grace.
It's a very painful experience, Jide. It's a very, very painful experience.
Wow. You know,
when you wake up,
I was told that there is a parent who has 4 kids amongst them.
Mohammed, how many of your children do you have with the bandits?
No, don't ask that one, please. For security reasons. No need. No need, please. Let's move on. Let's move on.
It's very, very unfortunate.
Very, very. But like we said, you can see that these bandits are not even willing to speak with the parents again. No. They want the bigger money.
It's dangerous if they know that somebody has so much or so many kids. Their approach will change, and that person will be in bigger trouble.
That individual.
Yes, that's why I was saying there's a parent who has 4, but it's important to not let anybody know who that parent is. I'm aware that a parent has 4 amongst them. both in SS2, JS2, SS3. But it's important to not put that importation.
They will multiply the amount given.
The agony of that parent will be greater. So there's no point asking him how many kids. They should even be working together as a group.
Yeah.
You know?
Which they are doing anyway.
Yes. And you can imagine if they now begin to negotiate individually with parents. You that you have more kids, it may be difficult for you to find. Yes, that's the thing.
Per one. Because I'm looking at this same economy that is so down and we're almost out, and how Nigerians are not even asking governments that, oh, give us good roads, give us 24 hours electricity. If we will do that, can you just protect us?
Yes.
Basic security. Nigerians, they are not difficult to please. What they just want is just basic security. They will find a way. They will look for OPC. They will look for OPC to fend for themselves in their areas, and they will look for generators. Let them have access to fuel.
I think what we still need to keep hammering on is the issue of security. We must stop this. Otherwise, we are good. Even the major towns will come under attack again.
No, once they get, you know what they are doing in Abuja now? The satellite towns, to Tungamaji and other satellite towns, Buhari, even
Kubwa and the rest.
What was this? Gwagwalada.
Okay.
They are beginning to kidnap people in those areas, and that's a very bad signal. I've been warning that the university town. Buhari especially, Buhari has to be protected because the school have forests behind the school, so that these guys, because the thing about terrorists and bandits is that sometimes they will be planning something big. You will not know. You just think that, oh, nothing is happening, we are safe, until suddenly they strike. So those areas need to be protected, and the moment they continue to breach the security of community satellite towns around the federal capital, they will start feeling that, look, we can come in and execute some of these plans. And some schools now around that, in the Buhari area, they are already being shut because school proprietors are scared that this could happen. Remember, even an orphanage. They went to an orphanage in a satellite town in Abuja and kidnapped the children. How do you go to an orphanage? Who will pay for ransom
for the orphans?
When you kidnap orphans? I mean, these just senseless people.
All right, moving on now. The more the Naira continues to in its downward slide against the other currency, the more burden it places on us and the economy. Hence is the need to check its further devaluation. The recent devaluation of to 410 naira to a dollar from 379 naira by central bank is said to have worsened Nigerian debt servicing burden, which has exceeded 3.3 trillion naira. So, economy and financial experts said the country risks higher debt servicing burden with further devaluation. This morning, 410 naira to a dollar. This morning at the black market.
Official.
That's your official.
Yes, official. That's the first thing I want to bring out. That look at the black market, it's going for 490 something. It's only between 500 and 490 something. As of last week.
Between 495 and 500. First and foremost, the gap between the official rate and the unofficial rate is too wide. When you have that gap, it breeds corruption.
Round tripping.
When people can see that, look, with if they can source Forex at the official rate and they sell it, there is so much money to make. You have a situation in which banks already have their own currency speculators that they direct people to go and buy from so person. So to get this currency from the official rate, or the official market, is not easy. The black market is the one that is closest to reality, is the one that majority of the people patronize. So I'm much more concerned about that black market rate, that it has to come down. Going to the question of devaluation, already, because we do not generate enough revenue, there is extreme pressure, not just on our foreign reserves, but extreme pressure on virtually everything. Because now you look at the size of our budget, look at how much we are spending on debt servicing. It means that you need more of your currency. When you devalue, you then need more of your currency to do anything that is denominated in foreign currency. For example, this debt servicing that we had, all the debts are foreign currency denominated. You must pay back in foreign currency. It means that the quantum of your own currency that you now set aside to buy, to pay for things that you buy, things in dollar, will be higher. So debt servicing is a natural thing that if you are spending maybe 90 million naira, just as an illustration, on debt servicing, the moment you devalue, you now need more than 90 billion naira. That's your own currency, because the emphasis now will be the dollar. So you need a bigger quantum of your own local currency to service your debt. That is the argument. Already about 90% of our resources. The minister was talking the other day, and she admitted that we spent about 80% of our resources, of our revenue, on debt servicing. That is bad enough. So you have a situation in which, if in 5 months, from available facts at our disposal, you spend about 1.3 trillion in 5 months to service debt, by the end of the year, it will be in excess of 3 trillion. Because 5 months, in 10 months, it comes to 2.6 trillion. Then in those 2 months, it will definitely go above 3 trillion. That is too much. And I just think that we should do something about revenue. People keep saying, oh, our debt to GDP ratio is tidy. I do not see any sense in that, because that can only work for a country that does not have revenue issues. We should be talking about debt to revenue. We do not. The minister herself admitted that we are not doing very well in the area of revenue. So now look at, even the president has asked for more money. Supplementary budget. This supplementary budget, for you to be asking for supplementary budget in excess of 800 billion, that shows that we can't even find the funds to run that budget. That shows that we are still going to borrow money to finance our budget. So I will expect us to be more realistic. In the post-COVID era, developed economies are reducing the size of their budget. We don't have to say, because if we don't reduce the size of our budget, at the end, we are seeing what is happening now, that revenue projection is not matching reality. Everything that we said will come, that will make from revenue, we just can't find it. So let's cut our quote according to our size. Reduce the size of the budget and work based on current realities. Every country is doing that.
If you remember the time CBN came out with this 1,000 naira, that's one note. You know how heavy it was. You know how the purchasing value.
People didn't want to.
Now let's look at the value of this money now. Look at, I saw one of the slides there. In this picture, I'm looking at 5 naira. Well, the purpose of 5 naira has been defeated. I can't remember things you can do with 5 naira again. Even if you give a beggar 5 naira, I'm sure
pure water is now 20 naira.
20 naira.
I'm sure the beggar will look at you and say, because I don't know.
Well, what I've always advocated is that we need to show up the value of the naira. And that is what we are contending with now. As we are needing more money to pay those that we are owing, so also do we, as Nigerians, need more money to buy the things that we need in our homes. Because we import virtually everything.
Virtually everything.
So once the dollar goes up, then the cost.
Look for more naira to get the dollar.
Yes.
Sometimes we get to the point where people say a staple food like gari should not go up. And I begin to think, are they forgetting that the things that they use in cultivating this gari, it has a lot of foreign components.
How about transport?
It has a lot of foreign components. The tractor to till the land, the fertilizer, the pesticide, the transportation to come out.
Everything
Spare parts for the vehicles.
Because we look at it as if gari is
I
just a
saw
local.
somebody came to my wall to argue that why are transport costs going up? Is Buhari stopping drivers from driving? I said, look at it.
They can't even get the
People
thing.
can't even think.
They can't think.
Spare parts, the cost of spare parts have gone up.
Yes,
So
because of
the
dollar exchange.
Yes,
equivalent.
this is not. We don't produce this. You see how somebody is thinking that we
don't.
Thinking on the surface.
The capacity to think like somebody who is deep is not there.
It's not there.
You know, and unfortunately for many of many Nigerians, it is one track reasoning. He has made up his mind that whatever people say, no, I don't want to believe. So he's thinking that, okay, why should transport costs go up when Buhari has not stopped the drivers from driving?
So it's the drivers when they get on the road.
Emptiness in a little remark on social media.
How much has he had to buy a liter of fuel in the last 4 or 5 years?
Even if we live there, the cost of spares
That's what
in
we
the post-COVID
look at.
era, the cost of spare parts
That's
have
what we
gone
should
up.
look at.
Have gone up. So who and any vehicle that you put on the road, the wear and tear, you should
It's
expect
always
it.
there.
To buy spare parts.
Just start from tires. Go and look at tires only.
How much?
Tires we used to buy for 6,000 some years back. You now pay about
And they are not
20,
as reliable as
30,000.
they used to be
Everything.
before.
No,
So,
of course.
Just buy new tires.
That's the thing.
Last
Victor
year,
is calling us from Enugu.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, good
Ayo,
afternoon, Victor.
Babajide and Dr.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, please, I have 2 questions I want to ask you people. Number one is, I thought they said our Super Tucano is.
Sorry?
I said no. Okay, maybe
I was going to talk about the loan.
no. He said Super Tucano.
Okay, Super Tucano. Oh, okay.
They are going to come
This
in
is July now.
In July.
No, we are just in the first week of
Some
July.
of them.
6
Not
of
all.
them. Six will come in the first week of July. So we are still in July. We are in the first week of July. So
We are waiting.
I'm confident that
They will.
They will deliver the first 6.
From what we've even gotten, I think it's on ground. They've been testing it. Our guys are there.
Our technicians are there.
yes,
they are
and,
trained.
so-
And the hangars where they are going to put them here, the Americans have been working on them.
Okay.
You know, and,
So it's gone beyond
and
the
put
realm
a
of
color-
speculation.
Yes.
There was a
Put a color
time
on
they
it.
even
Oh, yes.
Honorable
Oh.
Benson, the member of House of Rep, on defense.
No, they
went
traveled.
to-
They traveled there to see
the-
things for themselves.
yes.
So there are 2 types. One will be in desert camo. The other one will be in woodland camo. So that's the color that they will give them. The two different types will have different colors.
Yeah.
Desert camouflage and woodland camouflage. And once we receive this one in 6 months, another set will come in. So
That's
they will
12.
come in. Yes.
12
So
will
the
go a long way
12
to
will
boost.
come in. But as I've always said, it's not the it's not as if once the Tucanos come that
We are good.
yes.
A lot of
Other things.
A lot of Nigerians are looking at it as the game changer. That's it.
No, but BQ
I've
said,
explained repeatedly that yes, there are assets. I've not seen an Air Force officer who understands this kind of warfare that we are involved in, who will say that once they come, this whole thing will be won. It just reinforces what we have and makes us better. Exactly. That's my view.
Ade is calling us from the United Kingdom.
Good afternoon. My greetings to everyone on the panel.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, please, I want to ask Babajide to explain something to me.
Okay.
I listened to Governor El-Rufai today on TVC. He said after his tenure, he will not be living in Kaduna. He will move out of Kaduna. What does that mean for people of that state and for Nigeria as a whole? Babajide, please explain. God bless you.
he said it a long time ago.
I don't know.
I have different.
Let me even attempt to answer Ade because Babajide is not Muyiwa Adekeye. I don't even know. He doesn't speak for Governor El-Rufai now, so I will leave know his mind. But he can tell you his opinion, Cha.
Yes, I think it's my opinion that I want. He wants my opinion, not Muyiwa. So if I were in his shoes, I would not say that. And you see, for VIPs like El-Rufai and the rest, even the people who manage them, they have a tough job. Sometimes they tell them don't do this interview, they go ahead, they do it. If you know, so I'm not sure that is what someone wants him to say, or among the people who manage him, because it is subject to all kinds of interpretations. Oh, he's been demolishing people's houses. He knows that they will come for him when his immunity is gone. You know all of those things, and then so some people will say, oh, insecurity may be a factor. You know, when you are in government, you have access to security on a huge level. But once you are not in government, especially if you are not even close to the government that is coming in, you may be relieved of all of the security that you used to have, and you become an ordinary person. We've seen people even moving around, and people will be harassing them, you know, hurling insults at them. So he has his reasons, but if I were in his shoes, I won't even say that. When that time comes, I take my decision.
Yes,
so because you say these people will give all kinds of interpretation that may not even have anything to do with what you had in mind.
Because even my own
he even said
interpretation
yesterday that he had to remove his son from school.
And daughter.
That's attempt has been made twice.
Yes, of course they will come for the boy. Of course they will come for. That was why when he was boasting at that time that he was putting his son in a public school, I just shook my head. And we have seen that that's not sustainable. You have endangered the life of the boy, because this boy's first day at school, people saw his picture and all that. So they will come for him. That was not a smart move. Let people not see what your son even looks like. We live in dangerous times.
Very dangerous.
All right.
What he said. Okay.
Let's quickly take this break and we'll be right back to talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be back after this time out. Please don't go away. Welcome back. It's Journalist Hangout on Sunday, and I still have Babajide Kolade Otutoju and Dotun Oladipo with me. Dotun, you wanted to say something before we
Yes, I was going to say, the reading of El-Rufai's statement is like, I know these people don't like me. So when I finish my tenure, let me carry my things and go, because I won't be as protected as I was as governor. That was my own reading of the situation. But like BKO said, several interpretations can come to that issue. And that is what we are finding out. That is why people who are in power should learn to throw in the right words. Don't just
keep your plans to your chest.
Just know what you want to do. Keep executing. And talk less if you don't have the right words to say.
All right. Moving on now. As people evolve, so does their culture and things dear to them. The people of Ikinyade in Kogi State are a classic example. They have not only sustained their New Yam Festival celebration, but reformed it and introduced new concepts to meet modern demands. One of these is the Omoluabi Hall of Fame, which is used to honor their sons and daughters who have excelled in various fields. At this year's celebration, the town inducted 8 persons into the Hall of Fame, including our own Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Let's share the story with you.
June 20 every year is a very significant date in the calendar of Ekinria Day community of Ijumu local government area of Kogi State. That day, the Emide Festival, the New Yam Festival, is usually celebrated. Farmers will dig up their first yams, and the ones with the biggest yams are admired and celebrated. Indeed, this day, the town thanks God for bountiful harvest and abundant rainfall. Indigenes of the town from all parts of the world come home to celebrate a day like no other in their history. No man is permitted to eat the new yam until the new yam has been celebrated. With the passage of time, the day of the big celebrations have been tinkered with to accommodate different innovations designed to make it even more appealing to Ekinriade's sons and daughters. Many years ago, the late Chief Victor Faleke, a distinguished son of the community and community development specialist, came up with the idea of Ekinriade Day. And today, the Ekinriade Day celebration has assumed a different dimension, with the celebration coming just before the celebration of the new yam. On the 19th of June 2021, Ekinriade's sons and daughters from all over the world converge on the open field of Baptist High School, Ekinriade, to celebrate to mark the biggest event of the town's calendar. It was a day of boundless energy, color and circumstance. One after another, Ekinriade cultural groups, Red Cap Chiefs, and the National Association for the various states and the diaspora filed out dancing and paid homage to the traditional ruler of the town, Oba Anthony Idowu Bamigbaye, the Ahemaworo one. Some Ekinriade sons and daughters bear their minds on the celebrations.
What we have seen so far, I think, is an executive that will succeed. They have done one or two things with the introduction of Omo Atata program with this Ekinriade Day. I think this is the first time we are doing it outside the town hall.
The Ekinriade community has come of age because there is now a rallying point for the community. Normally, you would have either a political rallying point, an economic rallying point, or a traditional rallying point.
My brother happened to be the founder. He's late now, Chief Victor Faleke. So, and since then we've continued the celebration, whereby all Ekinriade sons and daughters used to convert together, we see ourselves and we celebrate together.
I take it as a call to service, to greater commitment to the service and development of the community.
One significant development was the fact that Ekinriade's sons and daughters based outside the shores of Nigeria, came home to be part of the event. For them, it was part of giving back to their community.
To grace the occasion for the first time, and I'm not disappointed. I want to come back again next year and do my bit.
The induction of the Omo Atata is a big one. It's the first one, and every single inductee deserves the honor. Every single one of them.
Toyin Komolafe, General Secretary of the Ekiriade Community Development Association, described the success of the Ekiriade Day this term as unprecedented.
I would say that it's unprecedented in the history of the Ekiriade Day celebrations. We had a galaxy of stars, the best of the land, gathered together to receive honor in appreciation of what they have done in their personal capacity, their career, and their contribution to Ekiriade development as a whole.
Kogi State Commissioner for Environment, Victor Ade-Omofaye, who was honored on the day with honorary traditional title, says it's a call for him to do more for his community.
Honorary chieftaincy has, if I want to count, I have gotten several. But I want to believe that the one given by your community, just by the word of our KBC last night, that award given by your community is paramount and it should be the first.
Community development and self-help are areas of strength of the Ekiriade people. The community's inaugural secondary school, Baptist High School, is the first in Ijumu local government and is a product of communal efforts.
In the next 10 years, I see Ekiriade becoming one of the big cities and the center of commerce in Kogi State.
A few hours after the Ekiriade Day celebrations, the Emidin Festival got underway, with frenzied dancing across the community. United Kingdom residents are one of the organizers of the first ever Akogba mountain hike.
Akogba mountain hike is, it's first of its kind in the history of our community again. It's something that we thought about. If you look at this mountain, I call it a gigantic intrusion within the community, the landscape and the history of our community. It encapsulates a lot of history.
On the 18th of June 2021, the first ever Omo Atata Awards and Hall of Fame was held inside the Ekiriade Multipurpose Town Hall. The inductees are Professor Olayemi Akinwumi, Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Lokoja, Professor Shola Omotola, DVC Admin, Federal University of Oye-Ekiti, Mrs. Folashade Joseph, Managing Director, Nigeria Agricultural Insurance Corporation, Olugbenga Rotimi, Abuja-based estate surveyor, and Mr. Oloyede Ayeniko, Director, Procurement, National Emergency Management Agency. Others are Mr. Adebayo Fagbemi, Managing Director, Nigeria Electricity Liability Management Limited, Mr. Benjamin Akin Fagbemi, Deputy Director of Finance, National Population Commission, and Babajide Kolade Otitoju, multiple award-winning investigative journalist and political analyst.
This man is international. He is representing us in the global space. We are proud of you. He is a fearless man, you will agree with me.
We have seen improvements in terms of commitment to our community, and it gives me joy. We are a wonderful community. We have great people everywhere. And if things continue like this, look, you know the Ijebu people, they pride themselves as the first. We will challenge them. Ekinade will challenge them. Oh, yes.
After an Ekinade Day to remember, the people of the rustic community are already looking forward to the 2022 edition of the festival, which they expect to be even bigger than the 2021 edition.
This is Adeloka, where are you? This is Adeloka. And as we are taking the picture.
I have the award here live direct from the Ikeradi Development Association, and this award is saying Omo Atata Recognition Award presented to Babajide Kolade Otitoju as an illustrious Ikeradi compatriot in recognition of distinguished public service, noble private life, and contribution to national development under the royal seal of Ulu Ade of Ikeradi on the 18th of June 2021. I have this award here, looking bulky and nice. We say once again, congratulations to our own Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Dotu?
I think
a big one for Jide.
Yes,
that's saying that a prophet is not respected in his town.
No, that saying is gone now. What I will say is congratulations to him and for BKO to keep doing what he's doing. Some weeks back, 2 weeks now, from my children's school, they suddenly said the press club wanted to do something, and they insisted he should be the one to come and address them. That they've been following him.
Is this an open invitation, or you called him before?
What I'm saying is, all the teachers, the teachers say, they ensure that by 5 o'clock they are home. So it's
blackmail.
No, it's not a blackmail.
No, you have to honor him. You have to honor him.
You've made your mark.
The mark.
There is nothing else to say other than that. People want to follow you. They look forward to this program, and all over the world. It's something we sell now. It's a concept that when it started, for me was like, will this be sustainable? Those who have been here, they've spoken well about the program, and all those who have been involved, including the presenters. And I congratulate you on this. It shows that you are well recognized, even at home, not just outside. I would say keep it up, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
For me, I will always say,
best.
seest thou a diligent man in his business, for shall stand before kings and not other men.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. And I know that this is just the beginning. When this dream started, Jide propelled this dream, and Jide was like, it's possible. We could sustain something. We're doing it once in a week.
And consistently.
Consistently. It was, I thought, that day I was almost very angry. I remember that. What is wrong with this man? How can we be doing this every day? Don't we have a life?
You know, we started 30 minutes.
Yes, now.
And when we wanted to go to 1 hour, they said no, it will be morning.
After 1 hour,
watch 1 hour.
We should do every other day. And now we've added Sunday. We've added 2 hours.
And Sunday is now 2 hours.
Yes, growing from strength to strength. Congratulations,
Thank you so much. And I have to appreciate the traditional ruler of my hometown. Oba Anthony Bamigbaye Dowu, who was my senior in school at Tiscombe College, for recognizing me with this award that was given. He nominated the 8 of us, and the Ekinade Development.
People from that, from different strata.
Yes.
Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor.
Yes.
People from
Director at Population Commission.
We need to go and borrow
people
from there.
I'm telling you.
You know, and then the woman, look at the woman at the agric insurance. So it's a thing of joy for me to be so recognized. The first ever Hall of Fame in my hometown, to be one of the 8 recipients. I mean, to be not just a historian, but a history maker is something of joy to me. And You know, when we look at education infrastructure in our town, we feel very bad. That's a town that has been neglected routinely. But I hope the government of Kogi State will be able to do.
You challenge him on Thursday on the road.
Yes, yes. They need to do something for my town, because sometimes when we support politicians, it is conditional. Something drastic. You go to that town that has produced so many big people, generous. Currently, the director of the intelligence agency, defense intelligence, is from my hometown. That's General Adebayo. It's from my hometown. And the commander of Brigade of Guards, when Obasanjo was president, General Oshanokwe, is from my hometown. You produce tremendous people, but we don't have good roads. The schools are like pigsty. Something drastic has to be done about it. It doesn't make one happy to come home and see everywhere no industries that can get the youths engaged in meaningful things. No, nothing like that. So when you go home, you discover that poverty is so endemic, and you just have to play your part in making people happy. But that's not a sustainable thing, because you go home now, they don't know when next will come. Yeah. So government has to do something for these communities, not just my community. Give them good roads, give them good schools, and generally create an enabling environment for companies to set up shop in those places so that people can find employment.
So,
and I also want to thank you all, the backroom boys, and the voice of Citizen Jones, because without you guys around me, I cannot achieve anything. I can't sit here alone and just be talking. It's just not possible. People make us successful at what we do. I want to say a big thank you to all of them. The festival, I hope that people will come with me when we are doing it next year. We are very hospitable people, you know, and I want you especially to join us in the mountain hike.
Okay, that mountain.
Get to the peak of that mountain. Yes.
It's interesting.
Yes.
I think I also...
Not to get to the foot of the mountain.
I also like that idea. We are not paying attention to things like this. And these are foreign currency earners, if we develop them. Because these are started now. People outside this country, they like our tradition.
Especially
the
masquerades,
and all the rest.
Even their children from across the world. Yeah. Everywhere around.
No, for people who are coming from the UK,
I'm telling you.
Should tell you that by next year...
This is a thief dance group that entertained us that day. Very capable thief dancers. You know, and they already go international. You know.
Because you see them performing in so many other countries, but here we are not.
And they are better appreciated.
They are better appreciated here. So we need to bring in people here for tourism to see them. We earn more. Those are the areas we need to develop.
That's Commander L.M. Ofabi, who was head of the Navy's legal department, who was arrested during that phantom coup of 1995. That's L.M. Ofabi.
Okay.
This is Professor Amotola, DVC. DVC admin, Oye. Federal University, Oye.
Okay, Tony is calling us from Anambra.
Yeah, good evening or good afternoon, Babajide, Ayo, and every other person there.
All right, welcome aboard, Tony.
There is a rumor I'm hearing around Anambra, Nature precisely, about the British government giving Nigeria ultimatum for 8 hours.
We didn't hear you.
That wasn't good.
Don't worry. Well, we can substantiate it.
We didn't even hear the rumor.
We'll be back. But we don't do
the rumor. We didn't hear the rumor. You know? The gods ensure that we didn't
There was no rumor.
The gods don't like rumor mongering.
So we say congratulations to Babajide Kolade Otitoju again and the 8 other
7
others inductees from Ekere Ade in Kogi State. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the African Children Talent Discovery Foundation, ACTDF. We'll be right back. And finally, on Journalist Hangout on Sunday, Shola Ojeus is joining us. Shola, welcome back from Bauchi.
Thanks so much. Bauchi was just lit. It was wonderful.
The Bauchi Brigade.
Oh, God. Now, the African Children Talent Discovery Foundation, ACTDF, is showing that the Northeast is not just about insurgency. Last weekend, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium, Bauchi, hosted the 2nd edition of the Talent Hunt program organized by the foundation. Nigerian football legends like Austin Jeje Okocha, Kanu Nwankwo, Daniel Amokachi, Taribo West, and others from African countries, as well as Nollywood stars and top musicians, graced the program to mentor young talents. The chairman of the foundation, Noah Dalaji, said the program will advance discovery and development of the talents in the country. Let's share some of the events with you.
Game between the Bauchi All-Stars and the African All-Stars. Now's a chance. It's a goal. It is a goal. Goal number 1 is beyond football. The foundation is looking out for talents in basketball, talent who can sing, talent who can dance, and that's why we've got the likes of Peter Okoye of P-Square.
Half-time, it is the African Stars.
Nwankwo Kanu, he's played his part in this game.
Well, actually, I've not been out of Lagos the last 2 years because of COVID-19 and insecurity. I went to Bauchi State.
And you had fun.
Beautiful.
You had fun.
Security situation.
You are not answering me.
I had fun. I won't answer
because you had me when I was saying you had fun. You are trying to just put other words on top of what I'm saying.
Yes, I'll be back in one piece. The security situation in Bauchi State is so no. Encouraging.
Yes.
No banditry. No. Bauchi is very quiet.
Some of what we read about as relates to the Northwest and North Central, you don't have there. Yes, insurgency. We have insurgency in 3 states. We have Boko Haram in Adamawa, Borno, Yobe, but it has never really extended to Bauchi. In 2009, when Boko Haram launched the attack on police stations and other institutions of government. Yes, they attacked Bauchi, but that was the last. Boko Haram never had a foothold in Bauchi. No attempt on people's lives in Bauchi by Boko Haram. So, and that's the way it's been. I think the closest we can say, okay, Gombe, because they attacked Ashaka as the cement town at some point, and they stole dynamite. That's all that you can talk about. That okay, these people, but that area, Bauchi State, has been peaceful, and you know, in the past Bauchi has hosted National Sport Festival and other big events. You know, when we had Sanetoro. Sanetoro was secretary. Yes, that was it was Bauchi that donated Sanetoro. You know, perhaps the most powerful secretary general of the Nigerian football
recall the day he was jumping during the Olympics. Then he still jumped that day when he saw Kanu.
You know, he's a very slim man. He's a very slim man. No weight. Also, he can jump.
No Adalaji. I don't understand. Meeting Do Adalaji in the last 2-3 months that has changed my mind about, you know, especially our brothers from the north and from the Christian extraction. No Adalaji is just something else in terms of humility and the way he was able to governize everybody. Taribo West, Kanowa called Daniel Amokachi, and it gave me the opportunity of meeting those people.
Luala and others. We had Lumana Luala from Congo DRC. We have Stephen Appiah from Ghana. We have Kalilu Fadiga from Senegal. You know, engineer Noah Adalaji has changed the narrative about the Northeast being a no-go area. If you have stars like this, JJ Okocha was in South Africa as a pundit for Euro 2020.
Yes, I remember.
JJ came all the way because of this event. Kanu came, we have Emenike, we have Sunday Umba, we have Taribo West. You know, the stars all converged.
Celestine Babaya of kidnapping.
Nothing. We were moving around the city of Bauchi, even in the midnight, driving around the city.
Yes, I remember.
I think Engineer Noah Adalaji has been able to be a very good ambassador of the Northeast.
He sent a clear message.
It's a clear message, and you know, it's something to be proud of. You know, anybody should be able to cash in on that opportunity on what we saw, and then imagine the crowd in the stadium.
And I was told that the people outside the stadium were 5 times more than
If you remember earlier, what's the name? This a league game was played.
Yes, the Wiki Tourist and Lobby Stars. They played earlier.
That's Sunday at
we were even thinking because of that people now flocked him. And, you know, at the time we were even wondering, but the people comported themselves well. They were trying to, get autographs from all the stars. They were reaching out to the stars. It was so beautiful. And it's a, it's a tribute to somebody. When you say the power of one, when a man is determined to make a difference, that's what you see. I felt every stakeholder in Bauchi State should have taken advantage of that to see that huge crowd. Even when we were going to the stadium, you see horse riders. You know, people were excited to see these stars. And so we have to pay tribute to...
Not even Lagos has hosted
something like that
with this galaxy of stars in one location.
In fact, I was really impressed.
When you look at, you know, some of our rich men, some of our big boys out there, when you see some of them are nesting their resources to the right place, you know, philanthropy, charity, and things that will put smile. So that day I saw Kanu Wanko for the first time in my life. I saw Gigi Okocha for the first time, and I was really, you know, star-stunned that these guys were the ones that made my 1994 and 1996.
They gave joy to so many Nigerians. I still recall that day in Kano when we won the Olympic soccer gold.
1996.
One guy took a drum of dustbin and poured it on his own head. Some were riding. Sabogeri was something else on that day. And even outside of Sabogeri, the city of Kano, people were riding, doing all kinds of stunts with their motorcycles, you know. Everybody was happy. That was one day that Nigerians, united around the round leather game. So people need, rich men must understand one thing. Nigerian youths, we have a youth budge that we must exploit. Nigerian youths are very creative. All they need is that encouragement, the enabling environment. They do see Paul Pogba at the European Championship. He had 3 different celebrations for that goal. And all of those dances were Nigerian dances because he listens to Nigerian music all the time.
That's right.
I saw when Chelsea won the Champions League, in the dressing room, they were playing Nigerian music. The Chelsea players were celebrating.
When
Leicester City won the FA Cup, they were dancing. Look at this Chelsea player, that's the German, the black Rudiger. Rudiger was playing Nigerian music, and it's the same Nigerian dance step.
Even Ajax had their own time playing Nigerian music.
That is what our youths have been able to do. They put us on the world map of music. We had never won an individual Grammy. Because you can't say the woman, Shadi Adu, did not win it as a Nigerian. But you can see the Odogu himself from River State. Burna Boy won it with an audacious acclaim, and everyone is happy. And you saw
doubled it with BET now.
And you saw even Weasel himself, Wizkid also won with his collaboration. That's to tell you that our youths will go places.
With the right enabling environment.
I expect greater investment in the telecom sector, as well as even IT, because our youths are interested in those areas. Some may be interested for negative reasons, but there is an energy there that we can exploit. So we have to do our best to harness the talents of these guys. That's why I'm excited with what this man is doing.
I have the chairman of the foundation joining us via Skype, Engineer Noah Dalaji of the African Children Talent Discovery Foundation, ACTDF. Thank you for joining us. That day, I saw TV Dakolo, I saw Waje, and I saw P Square, and Engineer Noah Dalaji, you just passing by, you won't know that it's Noah Dalaji, but very humble, very friendly, very amiable. Thank you for hosting us in Bauchi State, Engineer Noah Dalaji. And tell us what motivated you, what inspired you to bring people back in Bauchi State, all these big stars.
Thank you so much, Ayo, and I'm happy that you are happy. You're being in Bauchi, and I believe almost all the people that have been there also are happy. So the most important thing is the narrative that has been changed about the Northeast, where I come from. A lot of people have been saying, oh, that's the war zone area. People should not go there for investment and other things. So by the grace of God, I saw people are beginning to change that impression. So that makes me happy. And talking about motivation is, if you look at the vision statement of our organization, the African Children Talent Discovery Foundation, we are into discovering talent. So I believe we are just carrying out one of our objectives by incorporating the young people that we are so keen about. And then I believe some of these young people that have been mentored, we are going to be seeing more of them in Europe and other countries. I believe they will present Nigeria also very soon. So it's a good thing, and I'm happy also that most of the people that went there are happy. But one thing for sure is you can see how the crowd were there, and then everybody goes back to his house without any scratch or any injury or something. And that says a lot about the region. So I think people should begin to change the impression they have about the Northeast zone. It's not really that bad, and some of the people that have gone there, they are eyewitness, and you are also one of the eyewitness. So it's a progress for the country.
In terms of what you are able to, the signal you are able to send across the world, this is not the first time you'll be having a charity foundation like this. And ultimately, what do you think to achieve with African youths?
Well, you see, I heard you earlier, you're talking about how creative the Nigerian young people are. Yes, we have everything in this country, Ayo. The Nigerian young people are the most creative people in the whole world. If you go to most of the developed countries, they cannot do it without the Nigerian people around the world. Even in America today, you're looking for the best medical doctors. You discover they are Nigerians. So what I'm trying to achieve is to expose the Nigerian young people so we can change the narrative of this country from being blacklisted about every time we talk about Nigeria are bad. Meanwhile, Nigeria is actually one of the best countries you can ever think of in the world. The best talents are here, and the resources are here. The intelligence you're talking about are here. I don't think I'll be able to live in any other country in the world more than Nigeria. So we're trying to achieve that so that a lot of people from the world will come here to invest, and the world will now begin to respect Nigeria back again.
Yeah, I watched the match, and it was a good thing seeing those old players show the talents that they have. It was such a wonderful feeling seeing Lomana Lua doing the flip, although he didn't do as many flips as he used to do, maybe because it's added some weight. How easy was it to put together this galaxy of stars and even convince them to go that far to Lagos, one of the extreme parts of our country?
Well, you see, like I said, most of the people believe that those areas are not really good areas. There's one of them that told me, "Oh, Bauchi, I don't think I will be able to come to Bauchi." I said, "Look, I'm coming to Bauchi. Come with me. I guarantee you security and everything." And they look at the passion. I'm sure that's one thing that convinced them. They look at the passion, how serious you are trying to change the narrative of the whole region and the entire country. Because in Africa, we have a lot of talent. So these guys believe that we can do it, and they took the risk. I said, okay, took a chance on me, and let's see what will happen. And we're all about.
Is Engineer Dalaji there? Shola, after the event, that particular day, is, you know, the people at the stadium, is people, they were calling him out.
Yes.
And has calling him out, and he has not made his intention known.
Well,
as in the sense, for him to be able to bring joy, this, you know, he should be able to replicate
One thing we have to recognize about Engineer Dalaji is that the passion for the people. I remember, it didn't start today. So, to say maybe he has any particular ulterior motive, this man sponsored a number of us journalists to the World Corporate Games in Liverpool, hosted by Liverpool FC. That was in 2012. You know, he has that belief that people should be given opportunity. And apart from sport, there was a time they did a music talent show in Port Harcourt. The same man. So, sport is one. Music is one, and he has other areas. Like that day, we have Olumide Oyedeji, the basketball star, who came to because there is something in the offing. So it's not limiting his areas of interest to one area, and that is the idea.
Engineer Dalaji, what do you want? A lot of Nigerians are saying this charity from 2012 and everything, that is there a bottom line to all this? What do you want, Engineer Dalaji?
I want Nigeria to be, I want the young people of Nigeria to be incorporated and be comfortable. That's what I want. Because we can be comfortable in this country. We can't be the same, of course, but at least we'll be comfortable. And, you know, look at the intelligence of the young people that we are talking about. Some of them, they are using it for a negative aspect of life by cybercrime and all those things. Those things can be changed for a positive direction where the country will benefit from it. So what I want is to make sure that the young people should know there is hope. Whether you are playing football, basketball, whether you are you want to become intellectual, you want to have a PhD or anything, that is a platform for you. And that's what we're trying to give out, to make sure that they have that understanding that there is hope coming your way. So once they understand that, I think the rate of crime will reduce in this country, the rate of poverty will reduce in this country, the rate of negative stuff will reduce in this country, and that's exactly what I want.
Now, tell us exactly how you intend to realize your dream of creating sports talents, music talents, and the rest. Have you hired instructors who will catch these talents from the cradle? Have you hired people like that?
Yes, you can see in Bauchi, we brought all kinds of footballers from different African countries. Those are people that will be mentoring these young people to make sure they get to the peak of their careers. And when you talk about music, we are working with the entertainment industry. You can see some musicians there. You see the likes of Peter of P Square. You see the likes of Waje and Timi. Those are people who are ready to mentor those who can sing. And then you can see the likes of Kapi. There are those who want to pick up dancing as the career. She's there to mentor them. And then you can see the likes of Olomidi, Oyadeji. There are those who are there to mentor people who wants to play basketball. So we all have all across talents, and that we are ready for them. The moment you are ready, and then we discover you're good, we select the best, we mentor them. Because it's one thing to discover talent, but it's another thing to develop the talent. I'm more keen about developing the talent to sustain those talents until they get to the peak of their careers. Now, those young guys that you saw being mentored in Bauchi, by the grace of God, we're going to be sending them to Europe for an academy. Now, that's the best we can give them, the platform. So it's up to them to take advantage of that platform to be able to become who God wants them to be. So we have all arrangements in place for all of them, and by the grace of God, I'm sure we'll achieve it. And like I say, the whole world will respect Nigeria back again.
I want to thank you, Engineer Noah Dalaji. I hope to be in Bauchi next year. Please invite me.
Thank you so much.
Maybe we have to encourage you to come with us this time around. Thank you for that giant stride of the African Children Talent Discovery Foundation, ACTD. Shola?
Yeah.
It was a big success.
Really big. I can tell you that already other regions of the country are itching to have such a thing. The momentum is huge now, and I believe ACTDF will not disappoint Nigerians. It's going to be great and greater. And it will pay tribute to the vision of this young man who has been able to put this kind of thing together for the benefit of not himself, but the future generation of Nigerians. I think we have to be proud of that. People should come out. This is not about politics or about anything. Partisanship is not involved. In Bauchi, there were different people. Some of these young people, mentored, were from different parts of the country. We have Igbo, we have Yoruba, we have Hausa. So it's a national thing, and we should be proud of that. We should be very proud of that.
Yes. Actually, the only way to get our youth engaged now is into things like this across the country.
Yes.
Because one thing that is wrong now is the level of unemployment and idleness on the part of Nigerian youths.
Yes, we do not have a choice. A lot of them would want to be involved in sports if the encouragement is there. You look at a place like Kano. Kano has tremendous football talents. Kano has football clubs more than any state in Nigeria. Kano, they successfully run 3 divisions of football clubs.
You can see their fan base.
3 divisions of football clubs, and they will play matches every day.
And always having a full house.
Full house.
Yes.
Because the rivalry is according to the clan. People of Zage, they have their own club, they have their own favorite player. They will go to the stadium in Sabongeri, and when they are coming out of the stadium, you see the excitement, although sometimes it leads to violence. So the talents are there, but how many people, how many managers of talents, how many people spot talents and help them nurture those talents, how many are in Kano? Because you need some of the best what do they call them? These people who help to export football talents abroad.
Okay. The
agents.
Yes.
Those agents. How many licensed football agents are in Kano, for example, where you have tremendous talents. A lot of these boys, they just end up smoking wee-wee, and that is the end. They have to be managed from the beginning. You manage them, hone their talents, and then watch them become something really big. Look at the Liverpool player, what's his name? The one from Senegal.
Sadio Mane.
Sadio Mane began, nobody
from nowhere.
Yes, today he still says that he never thought he could get to where he is today, and he's one of the best players in the world. There are many talents like that across our community, across our state.
Kante is there,
you know. So we just need people to help these young people.
That's true.
Crime rate will come down when people can find something to do. That's why I give credit to this Engineer Adelaji from Bauchi for what he has done. I hope more people, there are people richer than him by far, who are not thinking along these lines. You know, it's like giving back to your community. And when you give back to your community, you've done something good, even in the eyes of God.
That's true.
Shola Jones, I want to thank you for the hospitality, everything.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And Babajide, I want to say congratulations again. And,
congrats. We are proud of you.
Yes, I want to reach out to Mrs. Otitoju. Yesterday was her birthday.
Yes.
Was her first day?
Yes. Mrs. Omawumi
Otitoju. Yesterday was her birthday too. We say long life and prosperity to Mrs. Omawumi Otitoju. But above all, Babajide Tukolaji Otitoju, thank you for, congratulations for this award.
Thank you.
And that's our offering today on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Join us tomorrow for the regular episode of the program at 5 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Bye for now and see you tomorrow.